Hey everybody, this is Joshua from Art Scene West Gallery. Given the holiday season is here, I wanted to do a holiday themed demonstration. This is the canvas. These are the materials, just 3 brush sizes that we use here in the gallery for our painting parties. This is our water cup. These are the paints that we use. Acrylic, just standard color. All of the colors that we'll need for this painting are right here. We'll be mixing a lot. That's what we do here. The canvas that I'm using is one that I painted over recently so that I can recycle it and use it for something like this. I'm just going to start. We're going to go ahead and take our big brush, dip it in the water, dab it on this napkin here. First thing I want to start out with is the background. So about halfway, maybe a little above, I'm going to create the horizon. I'm going to create the sunset going up. So using these paints, we are going to be doing some blending. And when you're blending, you want to work somewhat quickly. So the first color I see here is like a pinkish orange. So I'm going to mix some yellow in the middle of my palette, put some red in it. I'm trying to create some orange. That was a little bit too much red. So I'm going to mix some white. And I think this color that I got here is pretty good. So let's go ahead and move to the canvas about halfway up right here, right? So the water is going to be below me. The sky is going to be above. I'm just going to go ahead and start by painting this orange color. And I do recommend we work quickly. It just kind of helps with this. All right, and now without cleaning the brush, I'm going to grab some yellow because right above that pink is just a massive amount of yellow here. And I'm not cleaning the brush just to keep the colors kind of consistent here. And as I apply it, I'm actually going to blend it downwards. Grab some more yellow. Just kind of add that yellow directly on there. You can see how the brush moves just from left to right. The canvas is small, so I'm covering the whole canvas from side to side as I go along. Now I'm going to add more yellow, but I'm going to dip some white in it. So I'm going to get a kind of a lighter yellow here because we have some clouds that we're going to create, but now paler yellow. Since I'm working fairly quickly, I'm able to blend that new yellow, that light yellow, into the color below it. All right, and I'm starting to get the colors. I could blend it all the way down, left to right, bringing that color down. I'm just going to shift to just using white here. Not clean the brush yet, so some of the residual paint is still on there. Just white with whatever paint's left on my brush. Bringing it down into that yellow. And that's how we have the sunset at first. All right. So right now, while I let that dry, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the water. So first I'm going to start with white, pick a spot on my palette to mix that with, take a little part of blue, more white than blue. So that looks like a pretty decent color for now. Put a little bit more blue in there, get paint on both sides of the brush. And let's see here. So in this painting, the ocean just goes to here, and then we have the beach. So I'm going to go ahead and carve out that ocean right there. So everything between that blue and that sunset will be painted with this blue color here. So if I feel like the paint isn't moving that well, I'll get a drop of water, mix it in that paint, and that'll help that paint spread around the canvas better. Look at this. It's only been a couple minutes and we already got a lot of a painting already complete. The next color I want to make is the color of this beachy sand. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this blue off my brush. Still using the same brush. Make sure it's dry. And I'm going to see, I have this orange here that I was using in the sunset. So I'm just going to continue mixing some yellow into that orange. Grab some white. And I'm going for like a sandy color. And I think I've just about got like a beachy sandy color. If I get a speck of black in that, just a tiny speck, it might darken it up just enough. So now I have my sand right here. Filling this in If the paint feels a little bit sticky onto the canvas, just go ahead and dab some water in it. So the next thing I want to do here is add the blue from the top of the sky. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of recreate this blue, paint the top here, kind of blend it here, some water on there. Add some more light blue layers here to the ocean. And I'm just adding the light blue that I have already created. And I'm just kind of adding it indiscriminately, just kind of all over the place. There that is right there. Most of it will be covered up anyways, but I'm painting it just with respect to what it is. This, and then right here, lots of foam. And just think about the waves shape. The foam is just kind of coming along the shore like that. Some darker blue. Shimmering wet sand here. And that's just going to be with some yellow. I got it really wet. Yellow, some white. Remember how we made that sand color in the first place? Down here. Another layer of dark brown that I added. So now we have pretty much all the elements of the ocean. I'm going to make that orange all over again, just kind of finding a spot. And I'm just going to start kind of going over this again into the sky. There we go. And just blending that blue back. I'm just going to go over this again. Why not? Uh-oh. All right. This is what I got so far. Next thing we're going to do is add the clouds. I love adding clouds. We're going to kind of retire this big brush here. Dry it off. Make sure it's nice and clean. Grab this medium brush, get it a little wet. So the clouds in this reference, there's plenty of them. What we're going to do is just first get the darkest color, which is purple. So let's go ahead and mix this blue and this red, making this really pretty purple right here. And then when we add, we're just going to push the paint. I say use this brush in a way you don't think you could use it. You're going to push the paint. And just going to kind of push that paint around. Go ahead and mess up the bristles. That's not a big deal. It's off the canvas. Get it a little wet. Dropping some water in there, just like that. So I'm done kind of pushing that paint around. The next color I want to use is kind of a light orange. So I'm going to grab some of this yellow, put it in the corner of this mixture. It's purple, add some red. Oh shit, that's a little much. So I'm going to start over here. Grab some white, put it in there. Put some white here. So now I have a few colors. Color here, color here. So I'm just going to leave it on kind of thick. And just kind of shaping the clouds a little. Right here. And then lastly, just pure yellow, which I'll probably need more of. Add some of this right here. Just leaving it on thick. So reapplying just right here on the edge. The sun's going to go relatively right here. So the sun, let's just go ahead and say the sun's right here. So all of the orange is going to go right here. And it is just the way it is. So the yellow sun's going to go right here. And then right where this is, I'm going to go ahead and the reflection to the water here. Just even add the orange kind of throughout this. All right, so the tree is green. How do we make green? Yellow and blue. So I'm gonna take this yellow, got some red in it. I don't care, it's orange. Grab some blue, just a little bit, and start mixing those together. Looks like I need more yellow. So I got this yellow, more blue. All right, that's starting to look green. Just right about here. And then that means I'm going to kind of just with my medium-sized brush and the green paint, just slowly start to apply in the shape of the tree. Every layer that I go below is a little bit wider. It's a nice, big, fat, chunky tree. And there's a lot of my applications are gonna be short and splotchy or short strokes. All right, so this is what we got. One more bit here, boom. Christmas trees are beautiful. I think we all agree. I mean, you can't argue that. If anybody said that they're not, question their sanity. But sunsets are by far the most beautiful thing, I think. Free beauty, if you're lucky enough. So putting them in the same picture, we're trying to create something so beautiful people might not survive, you know? So anyways, just gonna add a little bit more here. So I got my tree. This is what we got so far. And I'm just gonna apply in kind of splotchy ways because there is a shadow there and it is pretty prominent. And since we are working now with this dark, there is blackness in this tree, right? There's shadows, there's places. So I'm just gonna add some texture, just kind of suggesting that, adding some value, making the tree appear as if there's some value to it. So that's the tree before I dress it. And then grab some of this white and yellow. I'm just gonna continue to add a little bit to it here and there. I'm just going to do my star is gonna just be more traditional with as far as how you'd imagine, just across, 2 lines through it, across, 2 lines through it. So I went over it with yellow, I went over it with white. Yellow. Create these big bulbs, one there, and you can see it when it's added. You got some white and pink in there, so just the appearance of the light just changing, always not being stagnant. Kind of adds to the sporadic nature that I've been leading you through. So I got my red bulbs on. What other kind of bulb should I add now? It's gonna be shaped a little differently. Little stars. Apply it very wet. Let it kind of keep that little bit of more yellow, just kind of all over here. Go ahead and add this green all throughout the tree because I like it and I think it'll make the tree look good. Kind of cool pinkish color. And I'm gonna add kind of a garland to go around it. And I'm gonna add it everywhere. You can tell I decorated this tree because it's kind of like It's kind of not totally symmetrical. And that's the best. If somebody could look at your tree and say, oh, I know who decorated that, because it's got their character all over it. Hey, that's cool. You know, you did something. You created something familiar, recognizable. To an artist, that's a big compliment, you know? Christmas inspired holiday painting from San Diego. Hope you like it, hope you enjoyed it. Hope this is something that you might want to try in the future. You don't have to become a master in one painting. You just have to have fun. All right, guys, from Art Scene West Gallery, Merry Christmas. Thank you for following along. You take care. Oh, wait, hold on. You got to sign it. You know, you just got to. So I like to pick my favorite color out, you know, the color I use a lot, or the color closest to to the color I'm going to paint on, so it doesn't stand out too much. But in this case, I'm using pink, so boom, boom, right on the edge, just my initial, and now I'm complete. Take care.